Good morning, guys. So I'm very happy we are on this course, and I'm sure you are happy also to come back to school after how many months at home. But well, all is well and good. So I'm Kwaku Boamah, and I'm going to take your group through 0112 Introduction to Christianity. You had your introduction to Islam last semester, and I'm sure you quite enjoyed yourselves. And for this semester, I'm going to take you for the next 6 weeks. It means that we do not have time. As you know already, the groups have been created. There are 4 groups in all, and you have been divided based on your surnames. I will interact with you more, and so we'll see. Largely, as I explained in the audio, for this week, because we are trying to put ourselves together, everything will be online. And so you will be desired to, I will record my lectures and put it on YouTube, on my personal YouTube channel, and you can get to watch it. Then afterwards, the second week would go to the classroom. The venues have not been settled on, and so even the course outline that I'm going to put on your platforms, you see that the venues are in red, showing that it needs to be worked on. It's not correct, and so I'm sure before the close of this week, we'll be updated on the correct timetable, as in the venues, so that we can make room and meet there, and then we'll see how things will go. And so so the second and third week will be in person, the fourth week will be online, and then the fifth and sixth week will be in person. We've been told that we should do 70% in person and 30% online, and so we are blending, and that is why we are going that way. So just keep up, and then we'll see how things will go. I will, in this lecture, rather begin by telling you about the course, so that you know what we are going to do, your expectations, and the things that are involved, after which we'll have a discussion on today's lecture in actual sense. And so let me also invite you to my personal channel, where the one I was telling you about. There you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and when I put up videos, you may get the alert and get what, so that you also know when you have to pick up a lecture or something. So that is what we want to be doing. So let me go straight by showing you. So we are going to talk about Christianity, introduction to Christianity. But as I've mentioned, I'm introducing the course. So I am Kwaku Boamah. My office is at School of Education and Leadership Building. That is closer to JQB. You don't know JQB. Since you came to school, you've been doing online. I'm like, I'm on quite a school. So very close to the entrance. When you go around the main entrance, if let's say you are coming from the main entrance, as in the part, let's say you are coming from where the police station is, or you are coming from where the commercial bank is, and you enter campus, not the Ponglo. You enter campus, the first roundabout, just as you enter campus, the first roundabout to your right, you walk on that street, you see School of Communication Studies. You walk ahead, you see School of Communication Studies. You see that's the part where Radio University is located, and then you come across. As you walk from School of Communication Studies, you walk ahead. On your right, you see a building tagged Education and Leadership. The last office, that is where I am, and my office hours are on Wednesday 9 to 12. I'll be in the office. If you want to interact, you can. And if you want to write me an email, that is my email address, kwakuboamah@uj.edu.gh, and whatever there is, we can interact as well. I try to respond to my mails, so don't worry. So, by way of course description, this course is a survey of Christianity from its inception till the present time. From a historical perspective, it explores the origins, growth, and fundamental teachings of the faith, as well as the variety of forms it has assumed over the years. I guess this is self-explanatory. So basically, this course will seek to explore Christianity from when it began through to how it is today, and then we'll look at the various changes that has occurred. The course also introduces students to some of the modern ecumenical expressions of global Christianity and how it seeks to maintain its unity in culturally diverse places, especially in Africa. So we'll focus a little bit about Africa and see what is happening in Africa by way of Christian expression. The objective of this course, the objectives are that the course seek to give learners an understanding of Christian history, to explore how culture contributes to the contextual expression of a religious beliefs, and examine Christian beliefs and practices. This is what this course seek to do, to give you a good understanding of what Christianity is about, and also to have an idea of how Christianity has evolved over the years. This is very important. You must give attention to the details over here. Number one, this course will be delivered through lectures, individual presentations, and group discussions. The course shall adopt a synchronous method of teaching in fulfillment of the 70 face-to-face lecture and 30% online. I guess I've explained that already. That's what I mentioned to the effect that in the second week, we'll have face-to-face. The third week, face-to-face. The fourth week will be online. Then the fifth and sixth week will be face-to-face as well. Now, the fourth that I have explained, that is there already. Now, in terms of assessment, we are going to do 60-40. Let me repeat, 60-40, 60 continuous assessment and 40 for exam. So exam is going to be 40%, and we'll interact on that. I'll give you details on that in a bit. In doing the 60-40, the 60 aspect, one of the things I need you to note, or we need you to note, is that every week, after the lectures, after all the lectures have been given from Monday to Friday, on Saturday, we will set up a small test on Sakai. Sometimes just 5 questions. We just want to be sure that you are following the lecture and you understand what we are teaching you. And so what we are saying is that every Saturday for the next 6 weeks, every Saturday, at least 5 questions will be generated in response to the week lecture. So whatever has been taught in the week, you will have 5 questions on Sakai, you would answer. And it's going to be simple questions. Some of them may be true or false. We don't know yet. We have not said them yet. But so if you don't listen to the lecture, or if you don't come to lecture, you won't be able to answer them. If you don't attend tutorial, you won't be able to answer them. So that is just what we'll be doing, and we need you to know those assignments on Sakai will be from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So you won't tell me so from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. But when you go in 15 minutes, you answer 5 questions. 15 minutes, you answer 5 questions. And so that is what we'll be doing. And it will build up into the continuous assessment that you are supposed to have. Yeah. So that is it. Every Saturday, you have to go and then answer those questions. Learning outcomes. At the end of the course, learners should be able to explain the various phases of the history of Christianity, its context and development, describe the role of social and cultural factors in shaping beliefs and practices in Christianity. You should be able to explain the fundamental beliefs, rituals, and festivals in Christianity. So those are my expectations. What do I want from you? In this course, I need you to participate. By participating, we need you to be active in discussions, be punctual in class and regular. We know how to measure, and then tutorials as well. Tutorials. Let me let you know that out of the 65 marks is going to go for tutorials. So it's up to you, and then you take part in the Sakai test. Now, this is a breakdown of the 60% that we would want from you, how we are going to get it. So we are going to check your class participation, your participation in class. your participation in class, that is going to score you 5 marks, as in 5%. Then your tutorial will be 5%. Then the Sakai test will be 30, because we are doing 6 weeks, and each week you are going to get 5 marks. So 6, 5, 30. So each week, put it in your mind, each week. But we are going to have a proper IE, and that is going to be on the 17th of July. So put it on your calendar. 17th of July, we are going to have IE, and that is going to score you 20 marks. So all these 4 elements are going to account for the 60%, and then the exam will also be 60%. Need me to mention to you that all of those, the Sakai test, the interim assessment, and the exam are going to be online. They are going to be online. The Sakai test, the interim assessment, and the end of semester examination. So get yourselves prepared, and then let's ride on. So this is very important for you to know. I also showed you your grading system. This you should know, but I know many of you will not check it, and you don't worry yourself about it, but you come hassling us. So A is 80 to 100 and blah, 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 and then it falls down way. So I'm going to share your course outline with you, and this is how it's going to look at. And I need you to take notes. You see, so like today, you see the date and the lecture time, Monday. So if you are in A to E, my group, the first group, that is from I think A to E, if you are in that group, your lecture periods are going to be Mondays and Wednesdays. So you are going to use Mondays and Wednesdays for the first group, A to E, Mondays and Wednesdays. And then the second group, that is what you call F to K, you are going to follow the Tuesday and Thursday classes. Whilst the A to E will follow the Monday and Wednesday classes. And so if you look at it, you can see the topics that are going to be, the topics to be treated in these classes, and then you can follow. So this is just a snapshot, so to say, of the course outline, but it's going to be sent to you so that you know what is cooking. So then, can we begin for today, so that we look at issues regarding our lecture? And if you looked at the course outline, you saw that today's lecture is supposed to be the historical approach to the study of religions. Let me say that you can use the WhatsApp platform to interact with me. I will do my best to respond to them. You know, you are many, but I'll do my best. So just use the WhatsApp. But can I beg you one thing? I had wanted to close the WhatsApp page that you can't comment, but the Telegram page that you can't comment and blah 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 blah. But I feel that we should be interactive. So please be careful what you put on. If for nothing, to have small respect for me. So that because if there are a lot of messages, ones that are not important, then I'll take my eyes off it, and that is not good enough. I want to be able to follow discussion. So if it doesn't relate to the class, please forgive me. Don't put it on. Let's keep it sacrosanct so that we can have a good interaction on the platform. So those who want to put morning devotions and those things, apart from me, who is allowed to put morning devotion, you are not. And this one is rule of this one is something rules. Sure. So but please let's keep the group sacrosanct so that we don't put on materials that are not related to the course. Thank you so very much for your understanding. Good. So we'll proceed from here and look at our course for today. And here today we are going to talk about the historical approach. Largely, our course is going to assume it's a historic course, and so we are going to use the historical approach. So there is need for you to understand what the historical approach is all about, so that you can understand it. Now, we are saying that history is the analysis and interpretation of the human past, enabling us to study continuity and change that are taking place over time. And so, the whole idea of history is to analyze and interpret human past, not today, but human past, so that it can help today and tomorrow. So when you analyze the human past, you look at it in terms of continuity. How do we continue from where we have come to? And also to understand the changes that have come up in human development. It is an act of both investigation and imagination that seek to explain how people have changed over time. So when we are doing history, what we are looking at is both investigative and imaginative. Because we're not there, we also have to imagine. So historians use all forms of evidence to examine, interpret, revisit, and reinterpret the past. So in history, we try to examine, interpret, revisit, so that we visit the past. We try to see what was going on in the past. And sometimes we even reinterpret. Somebody must have interpreted something, but we think that no. What the person said was wrong. Then we try to recalibrate. We try to re-understand what was going on in the past. These include not just written documents, but also oral communication on objects such as buildings, artifacts, photographs, and paintings. So when we are doing history, we will also look out not just for written documents like Bible and text and blah, 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 blah. No. We also will look at some of the things that people have said, and objects like buildings. You see, for instance, if you, let's say 200 years past, if somebody sees a picture of East Legon, and forgive me without any insult, I beg you, it's just an example. Don't come and bully me, I beg you. Somebody sees a picture of Jamestown. You see, when you look at the picture of East Legon and you look at the picture of Jamestown, you are able to tell the economic life of the people. So that is historic. So by history, we are just picking just two pictures. Okay, so we pick East Legon and then we look at Jamestown. You can tell the livelihood of the people who were living in those places. Were they upper class or lower class? You can tell. You can tell the kind of food that the people there eat a lot. You see, just by the picture. So that is what we mean by interpretation. You interpret and then you see. So it is not just by written documents, but even more also by what you call artifacts, photographs, and others. Historians are trained in the method of discovering and evaluating these sources and the challenging task of making historical sense out of them. History is a means to understand the past and present, and this is very important. History, by engaging in history, we attempt to understand the past. We attempt to appreciate the past and also the present, and by so doing, we try to link up. So what are the importance of studying history? What are the importance? Why is it important to study history? We study history in order to promote self-understanding. You see, when you read history, when you understand the people you are studying, you tend to understand yourself, why you do the things that you do. For instance, those of you who are Christians, those of us who are not, we are fine, but those of you who are, you see, for instance, why do you, there is a question I've always been asking, but I don't get answer. Can you people help me? Why do you pray before you eat? It's an interesting one. An interesting question, maybe okay, when we come to class, I'll get your answers. Why you pray before you eat? Why do Christians, especially those in the what we call the mainline churches, the historic mainline churches, I'm referring to the Methodist, Presby, Anglican, and some few other churches, the Catholic Church, you want to call them what do you call? You people call them what temple? Orthodox Church. No. Now you are a scholar. Don't say Orthodox. Why? There is a church called the Orthodox Church. There is a tradition called the Orthodox tradition. So you can't use that. It's like no. It doesn't work. So Now you are scholars, so you call them the historic mainline churches. Historic mainline churches. The historic mainline. Why do you recite the Apostles' Creed? Where is it? Where from it? You see, so you try to understand these, and when you understand these things, then you will also be understanding who you are. So by the study of history, we try to understand, and then it also helps to tolerate others. When you study history, you understand them, so you now begin to tolerate them. I am sure that many of you did not know a lot about Islam. But last semester, when you studied Islam, you studied the Jahili period, you saw the things that went on in that period, and it enabled you. Now you can appreciate what Muslims, when the Muslims are in the month of Ramadan, or when you hear that Muslims are going to, how do you call it, Mecca, you know what they are going to do. So you tolerate them. If, let's say, from now onwards, you are a CEO of a company and you have a Muslim in your, what they call, company, and the Muslim says he wants to go and pray, you understand, because Muslims pray 5 times a day. So come on. So it helps. The study of history helps. It helps to also to develop the right attitude, you see, so that you develop the right attitude based on your appreciation of the worth of life, or what the people believed at the time. History also gives training for handling controversial issues. Yes, because some of the issues that you grapple with in history are controversial. And by this study, you are able to appreciate and you are able to understand them. It also has a point in teaching some moral lessons. We don't seek to make you Christian or less Christian by this course anyway, but at least you understand some morality from the study of history. It's very important to note the sources of historical studies. And what you are saying is that the study and use of original material and original sources, called source method of teaching and learning, gives us much better understanding of the history than any other method. So it is important to talk about sources because this is an academic study. And so we ask ourselves, how did you come by the analysis you are making? It must be on the basis of something. It must be on the basis of something. And so you need what we call traces, evidence, for making the argument you are going to be making. And that is why the historical document, the historical things that you have are those that are going to enable you to do the things that you do. So largely in historical method and in what we are going to be doing, there are 3 things, 3 main sources: archaeological sources, literary sources, and oral tradition. Archaeological sources, literary sources, and oral traditions. So let's start off with archaeological. When it comes to archaeological sources, we are going to look at monumental findings, monuments. Those of you who are doing archaeology, you understand this more. We are going to look at buildings, we are going to look at sculpture, paintings, potteries, monuments. Then epigraphs. We are going to look at epigraphs as well. You are going to look at things like stones and pillars, some of the things that are written on it, and you see sometimes some of the images of these epigraphs are so interesting. They are used to explain a lot of things about Christianity and other. And then you look out for coins and other things that explain the history. For instance, if you take the Ghana cedi, it tells you by the image on it, it tells you some of the things that Ghanaians value, and you tend to understand and appreciate the context of the Ghanaian people. In terms of literary sources, we are going to look at sacred or religious literature like the Bible. Okay, we are going to look at Bible. We are not just going to look at the canonical text. We may have to, at some points in time, refer to the apocryphal text. You will understand these later. And then there will be other secular sources that are written by some individuals that will be accounted, that will be studied. And then foreign account, the study of text written by non-indigenous, even people who are not Christians, who may have written about Christianity in one way or the other. Those are some literary sources that we are going to be using. Now, when we come to oral tradition, we are going to look at primary and secondary sources in understanding the history of Christianity. And the examples of the primary sources will include Original document like diaries, speeches, manuscript, letters, interviews, films, and those things. All of these are primary sources. When we say something is primary, it means it is in its original state. You see, in computer, you will say that it is data. It is not processed, so it's primary. So when, for instance, you take somebody, what the person has written in his or her diary, it's original. So we take it and then we try to explain what that meant, okay, to the person and to whoever was being written to or something like that. And so those are primary data that we can use. And then like artifacts, furniture, because if you go to somebody's room and he has a bed, and you go to another person's room and he has a mat, it tells you the social status largely of the person. It may be that the person was rich, but the person was having problem with his back, and so he doesn't sleep on the bed. But well, so all other factors will be taken into consideration, including even the constitution is a primary document. And some secondary sources will include published books, journals, encyclopedias, dictionaries. You see, these are synthesis, these are analyzed. So the difference between the primary and secondary, and as you go on in your academic study, you will hear more between the primary and secondary sources. Primary sources are original, secondary sources are processed. One is in its raw stage and the other is processed, and it is largely accepted in scholarship that if you work with the primary data, you get primary what do you call them? You get good analysis than to work with the secondary data. So that is just about it. Now, importance of sources. When we use sources in our study, it helps us to engage, okay, so that there's an engagement, there's an interaction. When I'm using a picture, I'm interacting with the picture in order to bring out certain things. Sources will also help to develop critical thinking. Critical thinking. So we think critically. We look at the way the room, if you look at some, for instance, you take a castle and you go around it, you see, you try to understand the ideas and why they built the castle and all of those things. Sources help to construct knowledge, and then they give first-hand knowledge. Sources also help to consider different points of views in analysis, so that the same source is used by different people and they get different analysis, and it tells you that yes, it's interesting. Sources also help to understand the continuum of history, so that you see the processes of history, where it begins and where it processes and goes on. And then sources help us to acquire empathy for the human condition, so that by the sources you try to feel the feelings of the people who lived at the time. In doing this, as historians, you try to be impartial. You wouldn't try to say that because I'm a Christian, if something comes up in the discussion that is not too good, you because you're a Christian, you cover it up. No. You try to be dispassionate. You are doing an academic study. It is an academic study. You also have to be fair. You present the situation as it ought to be. And then you try as much as possible to be objective. You would have to be objective as historians. Then you must be open-minded. You see, just as I mentioned, you see a mat inside, and then you say that, oh, that person is is poor. But if you are open-minded, you might also think that, well, the person may have been rich, but the person was having a backache. That was why he sleeps on the floor. You see? So you must be open-minded and you must be accurate in the use of language. You use the right language. You don't say things that are not supposed to be said. You see, in describing a people you don't actually really know. So you want to be careful about that as well. The aim of history is to find weak points of it's not to find weak points of the other religions in order to win them to you. No. The aim of this study is not to find out the weakness in Christianity so that we win you off Christianity so that you join my religion, or we win you into Christianity. No. It is not intended to condemn other practices. It is actually supposed to be in the negative sense. So please, we'll correct them when we have to do that. Yeah. And whether to prove whatever has been said in one religion is true or false, no, that is not the intention or to expose falsehood, and to understand your own, but it is intended so that you understand your own religion and you don't feel detached, to appreciate an important aspect of human's culture, and to enable a dispassionate comparison of religious traditions for greater peace in a multi-religious context. Sure. Now, let's drive on to the second part of this lecture, and then we'll move quickly to the third part, and we are done. The second part just quickly goes through the various phases. You see, Christianity has come to us in various phases, in various times, and a lot of things have changed. So we just want to go through the epochs. When we say epochs, we are saying periods or eras, okay, of Christian history. So that, for instance, when you started, we say that your first epoch was your nursery to, let's say, primary school, basic school. So that is one epoch of your life. Then secondary school or junior high, secondary school, another epoch. And then now you are in the tertiary. From here you marry. Professor, won't you say amen? From here you marry. Hey, I'm sorry. Some of you are married already. Forgive me. Or so there are various stages of your life, and Christianity has also gone through various stages. There are various points that Christianity has also emerged, and we just want to go through those as well. So epochs of Christian history and African church historiography. So in Christian history, we first had the apostolic period, and basically this is the period of Jesus Christ and the 12 apostles. And then we have the period of the early church, the period of the early church fathers from around 451. And among the apostles, it is said that John was the last to die in 117, AD 117. So then the second epoch is the early church period that we call the period of the patristics era. Then we have the dark ages of Christianity. This was the period where Islam emerged and took over major Christian centers as well, called the Dark Ages. And then also we have the Middle Ages. This was the period of the Renaissance, the period of thinking, the period of break away from the churches. It is also an interesting period, and there is a whole course in the department. Those of you who, no, let me warn you. Let me look at your face and warn you. Those of you who have decided to stop religion, you don't want to go to heaven. Have to do religion to masters and even PhD. So if you continue and you continue, you do well. Religion is good. It's a good cause. After all, this cause, when you do, you are going to heaven. And then at least you can be an also you have a job. Anyway, so just that's the period of the Middle Ages where a lot of thinking was going on in Christian history. And then we have the modern period. This modern period is ushered in by the Reformation, the age of the Renaissance, where a lot of things were questioned. It also contained the period of the missionary ventures, and even to the 20th century where there is ecumenism. And so that is the epoch. Now let's come to the third part of the lecture. And here we are going to just introduce ourselves to Christianity. What is Christianity? What Christianity stands for and what it looks out to do. So basically, Christianity, or the word Christian, is derived from the word Christ, which is Greek. In Hebrew, Messiah. And what it means is anointed. So Christ means anointed. Christ means anointed. So that is what, and it is used by early believers to describe Jesus, who was believed to be the expected Messiah of the Jews. And so the group that emerged after Jesus are called Christians. So they are Christians, people who believe in Christ. And this Christ, they believe is Jesus. I'm saying they believe is Jesus because according to the Jews, the Messiah has not come. The proper Jews, the Messiah has not come. So they are still expecting the Messiah. But the Christians believe the Messiah was Jesus Christ. So the term came to be used somewhat as the surname of Christ, of Jesus. But it is not. Jesus' surname is not Christ. Let me say it again. Let me look at your face and tell you. Let me say it again. Jesus' surname is not Christ. Abba! There's a favorite question we used to ask. Jesus said, and people, you see people writing Christ because they've been writing Jesus Christ. Oh, whoa. Christ is a title. It only means anointed. That's all. In Greek, it's Messiah. Hey. Now people are even calling him Yeshua Mashiach. I'm not the Hebrew teacher. So Jesus' name is not Christ. Jesus is Jesus. That's all. Take him like that. Christians, as a descriptive name of the followers of Jesus Christ, first emerged as a nickname. And in Antioch, when Jesus was there and the disciples were acting in Antioch, some people called the people who followed Christ as Christians. In actual sense, it was a derogatory name to mock at them, but later it became the acceptable name of the group of people. They were called various names like the Way and all others, but the name Christian, was sustained. Yeah. In modern times, it seemed easy to define what Christianity is, but it's a difficult term to describe. Simply a religion that results from the life and work of Jesus. Simply put, because there are various forms and practices with beliefs. Are you not surprised? Everywhere, every now and then, new breed of Christianity keeps coming. And sometimes you even ask yourself where they are coming from. So you don't even know how to name them. Some of them, oh, we take blood. Some of them, we don't take blood. So are we not confused? Some of them, who call themselves Christians, we wear long dresses. Others say, no, we wear suits. Others say, no, we wear only African wear. Oh, whoa, what do we do? Others says, wear shoe. Some people will say, don't wear shoe. Hey, yeah, modern. So it makes it difficult. Some believe in all kinds of things. Some even say that there are some churches when you go and then everything, then you start making love to whoever you find. Hey, invite him in my baby. It will be interesting, my God. So anyway, because of the various expression, beliefs, and practices, it makes it quite difficult to define what Christianity really is or what it is intended to be. So probably by the end of the course, we would have been able to have a fair idea of what it is and attempt a definition. It's possible, Adi. Sure. So Christianity originated in Palestine from the 1st century. It began as an offshoot of Judaism, and this is a very important point, that Christianity emerged from Judaism. When we say Christianity emerged from Judaism, it is so because Jesus was a Jew, and Jesus linked the history of Israel to himself. Christians use the Jewish scriptures, which they, or let me say, a portion of the Jewish scriptures which they call the Old Testament. And to the Christians, these texts point to Jesus. And then the Old Testament is also seen as the prelude to the Christian New Testament. And so it's really not that easy to draw strict line between Christianity and Judaism, especially when it began in the Palestine. In the environment within which it developed and spread, the religion and philosophical ideas which easily spread held. They were Hellenistic. We are saying that they used Greek in their way of doing things, and the comprehension communication network of what the Romans described as Pax Romania, the peace, emphasizing the peace between the people or Rome and the Gauls. However, at the time Christianity emerged, many of such religions and ideas had begun to lose their appeal. The belief that the world was coming to an end and that the Messiah would soon appear was heightened in Judaism and in so many other places. And so guys, Akpenami. Thank you so very much for today. We'll put the bricks over here and then we'll see. So remember that I'll come your way with the second lecture for this week. I'll come your way with the second lecture for this week. Saturday, remember, you will have an IA or a test, so to say, on Sakai text and quizzes. Sakai test and quizzes. And so get yourself ready, link up, and then we'll see. If you have anything to interact with me, let's do it in the appropriate places. We have agreed that we will not flood our Telegram page with that is I'm going to follow the Telegram one. I'm going to ignore the WhatsApp pages. So the Telegram page is going to be our official page, and that is where I'm going to put the necessary things that you need to have. Let's all get involved in whatever we have to do. You remember that the lectures, we are in 4 groups. Know your group, follow your group, and then we'll pick things up from there. So take good care of yourself, and remember, please, COVID is still around. COVID is still around. The least you can do is to put on your mask anytime and every time. Anytime and every time. Let's save ourselves, let's save the world, and let's save the people around us. Take good care of yourself, and I'll catch up with you another time this week, and we'll all do well. God bless you. Bye.